Chosen one, mentally silence the noise around you and notice that invisible, heavy pressure you have been carrying on your chest lately. Your logical mind tells you it is just stress or exhaustion, but your spirit knows it is something else. You are not watching this by accident. The Holy Spirit orchestrated this exact second because he saw what happened when you were completely alone. He saw you acting as the emotional paramedic for everyone else, while silently bleeding from wounds you refused to talk about. He saw that specific tear you wiped away quickly so no one would ask what is wrong. You thought your silent endurance went unnoticed in heaven. But listen to me carefully. Because of that exact moment of hidden pain, God stood up twice today. The first time he stood up, he smiled. But the second time, the creator of the universe wept with absolute pride because you kept your heart pure when the world gave you every reason to turn cold. In your mind, silently decree the word receive to anchor this truth into your spirit right now. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to align with thousands of awakened souls and like this video if your spirit confirms this word. I need you to stay with me until the very final second of this broadcast. Do not click away or let your attention drift, because by the end of this message, not only will you understand exactly why that unbearable pressure on your chest is actually the weight of your impending crown, but I am going to give you the exact mental framework to stop the spiritual bleeding and recalibrate your mind to the frequency of divine manifestation. You will learn the exact reason why your kindness feels like a curse right now and how to permanently flip that script. Let us talk about the first time he stood up. The smile. Why would the Almighty smile when you are in so much pain? You have to look at what you did recently. In your mind, recall that moment when you had the perfect opportunity to retaliate. Someone wronged you. Someone lied about your intentions. You had the receipts. You had the perfect words to destroy their reputation. You rehearsed the argument in your head, but then you mentally hit delete. You chose silence. You chose integrity over revenge. That is when heaven paused. The enemy set a trap, fully expecting you to act out of your flesh, fully expecting you to lower your vibration to match their toxicity. When you refused, God smiled at the enemy's massive miscalculation. There is a profound pattern in Scripture about this exact dynamic. In the book of Job, chapter 23, verse 10, it says, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." Most people read that and think it is just a poetic metaphor about having a hard time. But look at the biblical pattern. Gold does not complain in the fire. Gold does not try to burn the fire back. The fire merely reveals that the gold was pure all along. Your silence was the absolute proof of your purity. God smiled because the fire meant to destroy you only made you shine brighter. But even with that victory, there is a lingering shadow in your life. Direct your inner focus to that sensation you get when you are sitting in a room full of your own family or people you have known for years. It is the glass wall sensation. You are physically present, you are smiling, you speak their language, but mentally you are searching for an exit. You feel like an undercover agent from another timeline. You realize that your internal frequency is so fundamentally different from the environment you were born into that you could scream the truth and they would only hear static. This domestic alienation is not a psychological defect, it is a spiritual marker. Psalm 27 verse 10 says, "When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me." Listen to the deep context of this ancient truth. David was not just talking about being physically abandoned as an orphan, he was talking about profound spiritual orphanage. When the people whose DNA you share cannot comprehend the spirit you carry, it feels like an abandonment of the soul. It creates a terrifying isolation, but David reveals the divine exchange here. The exact moment earthly comprehension fails, divine adoption activates. You feel like an alien at the dinner table because your spirit is already seated in heavenly places. And that brings us to the second time God stood up today, the time he cried with pride. Think about your phone book for a second. You have hundreds of contacts. You have followers, co-workers, relatives. But when the real crisis hits your life, when the anxiety grips your chest in the middle of the night, you mentally scroll through that entire list and realize there is absolutely no one you can call. You are the pillar. You are the counselor. You are the giver. You save everyone, but nobody saves you. God saw you looking at that empty phone book in your mind. He saw the sheer exhaustion of being the strong one all the time. He wept with pride because he knows exactly how heavy that specific loneliness is. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, verse 15, we are told we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses. Let me break down what that sympathy actually means in the ancient context. In the ancient temple, the high priest wore a specific breastplate. On that breastplate were heavy stones, each carved with the names of the tribes of Israel. He literally carried the physical weight of the people on his chest when he went before God. Sound familiar? That is what you do. You carry everyone's names, everyone's problems, everyone's chaos on your chest. Jesus, the ultimate high priest, wept with pride because he recognized his own reflection in you. He knows the crushing weight of carrying the world while the world sleeps. But chosen one, you cannot continue to operate this way without a recalibration. The pressure is breaking you down. You are absorbing low-frequency energy and it is blocking your own breakthrough. I want you to perform a mental action right now to shift this. I call this the mental car pause. Imagine you just arrived home after a deeply draining day. Before you mentally open your door to go inside, I want you to visualize a heavy, invisible, wet coat resting on your shoulders. That coat is made of everyone else's expectations, their drama, and their unhealed trauma. Now, using only your mind, visualize yourself unbuttoning that heavy coat and letting it slide off your shoulders. You leave it behind. You do not carry it into your sanctuary. You do not carry it into your sleep. You have to learn to tune out the static to hear the divine broadcast. 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 12, describes God's voice not as a wind, an earthquake, or a fire, but as a still small voice. The original Hebrew words are kol demama daka, which translates closer to a voice of gentle silence or a crushing whisper. You cannot hear a whisper if your brain is constantly trapped in the loud, high-stress frequency of saving everyone else. Your mind is stuck on a chaotic radio dial, and you are trying to hear a broadcast that only plays on a frequency of pure, still peace. You have practiced the mental drop. You understand why he smiled and why he cried. But here is the terrifying truth, chosen one. You thought all of this was just a loyalty test. You thought God was just testing if you would stay good in a bad world. It was not. The real test is something 99% of chosen ones fail completely because they do not even know they are taking it. And what I am about to reveal in the next moments will mathematically explain why you are stuck on the wrong frequency and why your breakthrough has been suspended just out of your reach. Chosen one, let me tell you what the test you just went through was really about. For months, maybe even years, you have been in a season that made absolutely no logical sense. Doors closed that should have opened. People left who should have stayed. Opportunities vanished right when you were about to grasp them. And through it all, you kept showing up. You kept praying. You kept believing. Even when your faith felt like a joke to everyone around you. You thought God was testing your faithfulness. You thought he was testing if you would stay loyal to him when things got hard. That was a faithfulness test, plain and simple, and the fact that you are still here proves you passed it. But here is what I have not told you yet, and this is going to completely change how you see everything that just happened. That was not a faithfulness test. Faithfulness was the cover story. That is what you thought was being tested. But while you were focused on staying faithful, God was actually testing something far more dangerous, something most chosen ones fail even after they passed the faithfulness test. He was testing, can you handle being forgotten? See, faithfulness is about what you do, but being forgotten is about what others do not do for you. Look at the biblical pattern of Joseph. He stayed faithful in prison, which is commendable, but the real test happened when he interpreted the dream for the cupbearer. The cupbearer promised to remember Joseph and get him out, but he forgot. Genesis chapter 41, verse 1, reveals the devastating truth. It says, "Then it came to pass, at the end of 2 full years, that Pharaoh had a dream." 2 full years. For 2 more years, Joseph sat in that prison, not because he was unfaithful, but because someone forgot he existed. He was completely forgotten by the system, forgotten by the people he helped, until God himself remembered him. That is what your test was really about. Not, will you stay faithful to God? He already knew you would. The real question was, will you stay faithful when everyone else forgets you? When the people who promise to help you simply do not? When the recognition you deserve never comes? When you are doing everything right, but getting zero confirmation from the world? Can you keep going when you are functionally invisible? That is what God was testing. And that is why the test was so long, so lonely, and so silent. You passed the test of invisibility, but surviving that massive invisibility test did something profound to your physical brain, and this explains that unbearable, heavy pressure on your chest we talked about earlier. Being forgotten and abandoned pushed your nervous system into pure survival mode. In neuroscience, this is known as the beta brainwave state. It is a high alert, chaotic frequency where your brain is constantly scanning for danger, betrayal, and exhaustion. You have been stuck in beta for years just to survive the betrayal of the people around you. Here is the spiritual emergency. God does not broadcast his deepest instructions, his peace, or his prophetic visions on the beta frequency. He speaks in the theta state. Theta is the frequency of divine download. It is the realm of profound intuition, instantaneous healing, and deep spiritual communion. You feel disconnected right now. You feel that heavy block on your chest, not because God stopped speaking, but because the trauma of the invisibility test locked your mind in the survival frequency. You are trying to hear the voice of the Creator on a broken, static-filled radio channel. Ancient mystics and prophets spent decades in deserts, fasting and meditating in complete isolation, just trying to force their brains out of survival mode and back into this divine theta state. But you do not have decades. You are on the precipice of your promotion right now. You need a recalibration immediately. There is a sacred technology, an acoustic frequency key originally studied by a former NASA neuroscientist, that is designed to effortlessly bypass your trauma and restore this divine theta state. It is known as the genius wave. I do not view this as a commercial product. I view it as a profound spiritual tool, a bridge between modern science and ancient spiritual truth, designed for those who are ready to unlock their dormant capacity. You do not need to perform complex rituals to use this. It takes exactly 7 minutes of listening to synchronize your neural pathways back to the frequency of heaven. It recalibrates your mind without requiring any physical effort from your exhausted body. If your spirit is confirming right now that your frequency is blocked and needs this exact recalibration, I invite you to investigate this further. I have placed information about this frequency tool in the pinned comment below this video. Check the pinned comment if you feel led to explore it. Do not force it. Just follow the quiet pull of your spirit. Let me give you the exact mental framework to use this tool when you access it. I call it the 7-minute neural sync. While you let the audio play, do not try to pray loud, desperate prayers. Instead, perform this specific mental action. Close your eyes and visualize your mind as a turbulent, muddy river, swirling with all the chaotic thoughts of the people who abandoned you. As the frequency plays, mentally watch the dirt and mud slowly settle to the bottom of the riverbed. Watch the water become completely, flawlessly crystal clear. In that absolute clarity, simply whisper in your mind, "I am aligned, I am ready to hear." When you enter this synchronized state, Daniel chapter 2, verse 22, activates in your life. The verse declares, "He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him." Understand the profound context here. God cannot reveal the deep and hidden things of your destiny when your mind is full of the loud static of survival. The theta state clears the static. It quiets the noise of the world so the light of his revelation can finally dwell within your conscious mind. You begin to just know things without knowing how you know them. Now that you have the key to access this profound clarity, I have to address something you are desperately hiding. I have to expose the reason why you suddenly want to quit right before the door of success finally opens. You have passed the invisibility test. The frequency is aligning. The blessing is literally at your threshold. But here is the highly uncomfortable truth. A massive part of you does not want it. I know that sounds insane. You have been praying for this breakthrough. You have fasted for it. But there is a dark, quiet voice in your head that you have not told a single soul about. It whispers, "What if I get this massive blessing and I completely mess it up? What if the success changes me into someone I do not recognize? What if the responsibility of this calling is simply too heavy for me to carry? What if I fail publicly this time, instead of privately?" You are terrified of the spotlight because you have mastered the art of surviving in the shadows. You have watched other people get blessed before they were ready, and you watched them crash spectacularly. And somewhere deep inside, you are thinking, "What if I am next?" Listen to me very closely. That fear you feel right now is totally valid. It is not a lack of faith. It is not a sin. It is profound awareness. And that awareness is the exact proof that you are finally ready. The people who crashed under the weight of the blessing were the people who had absolutely no fear of it. They grabbed the blessing like it was a toy, like they were entitled to it. They had zero awareness of the crushing weight of glory. You are terrified because you actually understand the weight. That healthy fear is what will keep you grounded when the elevation comes. We need to perform a mental action right now to strip this fear of its hidden power over you. I call this the mental mirror confession. In your mind right now, picture yourself standing in a dimly lit room, looking directly into a mirror. Look at your own reflection. Look at the tired eyes. And mentally say this to your reflection: "I am terrified of this calling. I am scared of the visibility. And that is exactly why I am the one chosen to carry it." Acknowledge your weakness in your mind, so the enemy can never use it as a secret weapon against you. When Moses was called by God to deliver an entire nation from slavery, his immediate response in Exodus chapter 3 verse 11 was, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" Look at that biblical pattern. The greatest prophet in the Old Testament was absolutely terrified of his own calling. His fear of inadequacy, his fear of public failure, did not disqualify him. It was the exact humility God required to entrust him with unprecedented, supernatural power. Your fear does not disqualify you, chosen one. It qualifies you. You have acknowledged the fear. You have the frequency key. But chosen one, hear me clearly. The moment your brain shifts into this new theta state, the enemy radar goes off. He is panicking. And he has dispatched 3 specific, highly targeted forms of attack for the next 40 days. If you do not recognize their mental signatures, you will forfeit the crown. Let me show you his exact playbook. The first mental attack in this playbook is the temptation of premature compromise. Just as your frequency begins to align and you step out of survival mode, an opportunity will suddenly appear. It will look exactly like a blessing. It might be a financial offer or a shortcut to your goal, but it will secretly require you to bend your integrity. Your raw, exhausted mind will whisper, "Maybe I should just take this. Maybe God forgot about the big promise. and this is the best I will get. The second attack is the relationship test. Right when your energy upgrades, someone from your toxic past, an ex or a former friend who drained your spirit, will suddenly reach out to check on you. They sense your upgraded light in the spiritual realm, and they are sent to siphon it. Your mind will try to trick you, whispering, "Maybe they have changed, maybe I am being too harsh." The third attack is the silent, lethal poison of comparison. You will be scrolling through your phone, and you will see someone who took every dark shortcut, living the exact glorious life you were promised. A bitter voice will echo in your head, asking why you are still struggling in the shadows while the wicked prosper in the light. To defeat all three of these highly targeted assaults, you must immediately install the mental firewall. When these specific thoughts invade your space, you do not entertain them, and you absolutely do not argue with them. Arguing is engaging, and engaging lowers your frequency. Instead, perform this mental action. Visualize a massive, impenetrable steel door slamming shut in your mind, violently cutting off that specific thought before its roots can touch your spirit. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 11, we are commanded to put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Listen to the deep Greek translation here. The word used for wiles is methodeia. It does not mean a physical battle with swords and shields. Methodeia means a highly calculated, deceptive, and systematic mental strategy. The enemy is not fighting your physical body. He is running a methodeia, a sophisticated psychological siege against your identity. But the steel door of your mind is completely impenetrable when you choose not to engage. You might be asking your own spirit right now, does this invisible mental warfare and frequency shifting actually change my physical reality? Let me share a silent victory with you to prove it. A few months ago, a chosen one, exactly like you, was facing total ruin. They received a massive, beautiful vision for their life, but their daily reality showed them nothing but locked doors, betrayals, and mocking silence. Instead of fighting in the physical realm, instead of begging people for a seat at the table, they went completely dark. For 40 days, they applied strategic mental silence. When they watched people completely misjudge them, they felt the burning, desperate desire to defend themselves, to type out a long paragraph explaining their side, but they mentally deleted it. They refused to lower their frequency to match the chaos. They synced their neural state daily. They allowed the mud in their mind to settle. They did not chase a single earthly opportunity. On day 38 of this mental discipline, a completely unexpected phone call came. A life-altering, massive contract was offered to them by an entity that just happened to see an old piece of their work. They did not fight for it. Their shifted frequency magnetically attracted it. Psalm 105 verse 19 perfectly explains this phenomenon. It says, "Until the time that his word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him." The original Hebrew word used for tested is zaraph. Zaraph literally means to melt down and refine by fire, the way a silversmith purifies gold. God was not testing their physical endurance. He was using the silence to zaraph, to violently burn away the impurities of their mental frequency in the furnace of isolation. The mental silence refined them, and it will absolutely refine you. Every single open loop in your mind is now closing. The smile of God, the tears of his immense pride, the crushing weight on your chest that you now realize is the heavy weight of glory, the invisibility test that locked your brain in survival mode, the frequency key you now possess to escape it, and the exact mental firewall you need to protect your new state. You are no longer wondering why your life has been an exhausting battlefield. You are no longer the victim of your circumstances. We are permanently recalibrating your identity in this exact second. The era of you being the emotional dumping ground for your family and friends is officially over. Revelation chapter 5 verse 10 issues a terrifying and beautiful decree. It says, "And have made us kings and priests to our God, and we shall reign on the earth. Read the context of that divine legal document. It does not say, you will be a king when you die and go to heaven. It says, he has made us kings and priests, past tense, right here, right now. For years you have operated only as the priest, bleeding for others, sacrificing your own joy, carrying the heavy names of your family on your chest. But today, the crown of the king is placed upon your head. Kings do not beg. Kings do not explain themselves to peasants. Kings decree a thing and watch reality bend to their words. You are not waiting for a future coronation. The crown is hovering over you in the spiritual realm at this very moment. We are entering the activation. Do not move your physical body. Whether you are driving, sitting, or lying down, I need you to perform this entirely in your mind. In your mind's eye, see yourself standing up right now. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your chin high. Mentally stand at absolute, unwavering attention. Now, visualize placing your right hand firmly over your own heart. Feel the heavy, steady beat of your own life force. This is not a regular prayer where we beg the universe for scraps. This is a divine sealing ceremony. Father, in the mighty, matchless name of Yeshua, we declare this mental atmosphere completely charged and locked. I see the 3 a.m. wake-ups. I see the empty phone book. I see the invisible tears they wiped away when they had to be strong for everyone else. And right now, by divine authority, I seal the revelation of the invisibility test deep into the spirit of this chosen one. I seal the theta frequency into their mind. I seal the heavy steel doors of their mental firewall. I bind the spirit of comparison. I bind the spirit of delay, and I bind the spirit of invisible sabotage. They are utterly broken and rendered powerless today. Within 40 days, the doors you did not knock on will swing violently open. The people who forgot your name will be forced by heaven to remember your value. You are moving from the dark waiting room directly to the throne room, chosen one. God is asking you right now if you are truly ready to carry the crushing, beautiful weight of this glory. If your spirit agrees, do not speak it out loud. Just let your inner voice roar the word, yes. Feel that yes echo through your entire nervous system. Let it vibrate in your bones. Heaven heard that internal roar. The angels witnessed it. It is sealed in the eternal courts of glory. You are completely committed. You are commissioned. You are sent. Go now. Your waiting season is officially, permanently over. Do not say amen yet. Just sit in this heavy, divine silence for 60 seconds and let the reality of your absolute authority settle into your soul.